seen before. I guarantee you have.
Okay, so we're really happy. This is entirely due to the vision and insight and this trust that Johnny Valenti has in us, which we appreciate, and of course, no thanks in small part to the manager Andrew All, who's agreed to let this happen. So they're opening up several hours earlier than they normally do, and we're just going to have the space to ourselves. And Paul Kudnaris is going to be giving a talk about demonic cats. And Paul's a really interesting guy. He's presented at Lava before on bejeweled shrines, bejeweled ossuaries, and what was his other talk?
You know, you've read about him if you're on the internet at all. He's the guy they're calling Indiana Bones, who gets into all of these churches and little tiny Eastern European towns where they've got hidden away the skeleton of someone who was shipped up from Rome and then bedecked with gems and articulated, because it's like a post-Reformation revival of the sanctification of mortal remains. And he's the guy who went through all of the very, very old books, figured out where these things were hidden, went and found them and photographed them beautifully. And he's been doing a lot of research lately on oddball animal stories. And this whole demonic cat business is apparently not to be missed. It's for cat lovers and haters. And I don't think Richard mentioned is that because Library Bar is smaller and laid out in a different way than past Sunday Salon venues, this is now an RSVP event. Which means, yes, you can come, but don't just show up. You do need to sign up ahead of time. We have a slightly limited space, but I do think everyone who really wants to come will be able to. Don't wait.
Yes, this falls under the old adage, thoughts have wings. So if you think positive, you're just this will happen for you. So please, we're so excited that's going to happen, and we will. Because of this new venue, it starts 2 hours later. It starts at 2, not noon. We're not going to be giving walking tours afterwards. So, but we will be. We are deep in the midst of developing 3 flaneur in the city walking tours for downtown to spread out over 2015. Sin and Salvation is the title. I hope I didn't give too much away. But we're super excited. This is going to be a lot of fun, and we'll launch one in March or April, and we'll keep you posted. And
I'm happy that I'm not going to have to run out immediately after a salon and chase after you and try to film you, Richard, because honestly, it's become a little overwhelming. You walk very fast, and you talk fast too. So let's break things up a little bit and linger at the Library Bar and get to know some of these salon guests.
Yes. The new MO for the salon at Library Bars: buy a drink. Okay, they're opening up special for us, so they need to hit a certain threshold to make this feasible for them. If it's feasible for them, we can keep doing it. So, all right. So we're gonna get to these interviews now. So let me just set this up. So we're gonna go with Dr. Louise Ivers to 2 locations in the 2 interviews that are about to follow. The first is going to be the Long Beach Port Authority Administration Building, which is a 1957 structure by Warren Diedrich and James Friend. Mural designed by Sheraton Stanton, who was head of design at Gladdy McBean Pottery, and the artist Paul Souza, who designed that. So Louise is going to talk about this structure, which is slated for demolition. Gorgeous mid-century modern building. We have pictures, Kim.
We're going to link to that?
Yeah,
okay.
we have yes, Kim. We have Kim. We have pictures. Don't worry. Okay, so Brian's going to talk about the mural, which they claim they're going to save, and we're very excited about that. And then we're in the second interview. We're going to go back north and east and over to Ocean Avenue to downtown Long Beach, and we're gonna Louise is going to talk about the courthouse. It's 1958 Francis Husel, and it's been they're talking about imploding it with explosives.
I actually knew there were photos because while you guys were talking outside the building the first time we visited, not when you were recording. I wandered around the side and I was taking pictures. I took some nice photos, and then this port cop pulled up in his port cop mobile, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm not even on that side of the fence." And he goes, "No, really, what are you doing?" And I said, "This is a beautiful building." And he looked at me, and he looked at this mid-century building, and he looked at me, and he looked up at the building again, and he said, "People are interested in the weirdest things." And I said, "This really is a beautiful building, and in 15 years, after it's gone, it's going to be remembered as a beautiful building." And he said, "Okay, have a good day."
And I am keeping in the interview us being interrupted by the Port Authority police asking us to what we're doing there. Please turn off my recording device and please answer some questions. Just it's as obvious in the interview because we continue to stay there and talk. We were obviously able to tell him what he wanted, some things he wanted, the answers he was hoping for, and he let us continue with the interview. So when we finish in the second interview, Louise, we finish with her, and then we immediately, because we're in the lobby of the Sovereign Hotel, which is across the street from the courthouse, because it's quiet in there and it has giant plate glass windows looking out onto Ocean Avenue, and it has a beautiful Hamilton fireplace from Hamilton Tile in Culver City, which is a very little known pottery from the late 1920s. And because we're there in the lobby and Brain Kaiser is with us, he then goes into a really wonderful explanation and exposition on Hamilton Tile and this fireplace and their place in architectural ornamentation, ceramic architectural ornamentation in Los Angeles in the late 1920s, which is, of course, very interesting. So we hope you enjoy this look at preservation catastrophes in Long Beach, and we hope you're inspired to write letters to the city. And with that, let's take it away with our two interviews with Brian and Louise. Dr. Ivers. Dr. Ivers are here with you. We're in Long Beach. We're at the Port Building. Would you like to properly introduce yourself before we get into the crisis at hand?
My name is Louise Ivers, and I'm a professor emeritus at California State University, Dominguez Hills. And I have published a book called Long Beach, A History Through Its Architecture. But the building that we're standing in front of right now is going to be in my next book, which doesn't have a title yet. And it is the Port of Long Beach Administration Building. It was designed and built between 1957 and 59 by local architects Warren Dedrick, who had worked in Long Beach since the teens and 20s, and also by James Friend. And this building has tile cladding all over it, which is unusual for a structure of this period. It's got large horizontal bands of yellow tiles, kind of a yellow ochre color, and they are darker at the bottom and lighter at the top. And these alternate with bands of windows. And then placed slightly off-center is this wonderful curving panel of the same...
It is off-center, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The building is asymmetrical, and that's where the entrance is. There's a vertical curving panel, and there's a horizontal one underneath it, which has the tile mural. And the entrance is on either sides of this, behind the curved area. And originally there was a fountain out front, and there's still a huge propeller out here. But this building has been abandoned. The port has moved to the airport temporarily. We don't exactly know where their permanent headquarters will be. They could be downtown, but that's another story.
We'll get to that when we get to the courthouse.
Exactly. And anyway, this building is definitely slated for demolition, but Long Beach heritage activists, me included, persuaded the people at the port to save the mural, which is on the facade.
Perfect. Okay. Good. Oh, okay, we're going to get to Brian in a second. Good. Do you want? I think everyone wants to know a bit about the bureaucratic process behind which this building it was decided this building would be demolished, and the preservation process gone through the preservation campaign process to save it. So before we jump over to Brian, the tile guy, about this beautiful gliding moving mural, we do want to know a bit about this process so we can all learn, because we all need to fight the good fight like you do. And thank you for letting me call you Dr. Ivers in the introduction. That was very exciting.
The process, if you want to call it that, the port decided that this building was going to be unsafe in earthquakes, and also they say that they have offices scattered all over the city of Long Beach, which probably is true, and they say that they need a larger building. So they're in these temporary quarters over at the airport right now. Long Beach Heritage, of course, would like to save the entire structure, but it's definitely slated for demolition, and it's got a chain link fence around it right now.
I'm going to kick the chain link fence so everyone can hear. It's the chain link fence.
There are a whole bunch of civic buildings in the city of Long Beach which are going to be demolished in the near future. One of them is already in the process of demolition, and that is the old swimming pool, which is from the 1960s at Belmont Pier. So they've already started to demolish that one. This one's still intact. They are going to save the mural and put it in storage and then place it on or in, I'm not sure which, their future building, wherever that may be.
Okay, good. Okay, perfect. Oh, we can hear the bells. We're at the harbor, so let's listen to the bells for a second. Are those bells? Those are.
Sounds like cables. I don't know. These are container.
We're hearing the noise of freight being unloaded. All right, the mural. Brian Kaiser, tile guy.
Yes, sir.
We are standing.
Can you call me doctor? Can I be an honorary? I can be an honorary doctor.
That's exactly why I did that.
PhD piled higher and deeper. I can do plenty of that. I can pile it very high and very deep. So I do have a PhD in that. I don't want to say what, but you know what I mean.
Brian, yes. Tell us this is beautiful Gladys McBean mural.
Yeah.
Tell us all about it, and start by quantifying it as why it's unique.
Well, this is kind of remarkable for a number of reasons. We're talking around 1958 or 1959, and we're really way past what's generally considered the golden era of California tile, which essentially ends in 1940 or 1941 with the advent of World War II and styles changing, and because of the Great Depression, people not being able to afford tile in their homes and their commercial installations. This is remarkable both for its size, and it's a custom installation. We're behind a chain link fence, so we can't get close enough. I think each tile here of this mural is about 1 foot by 2.5 to 3 feet long. And
that's a huge tile.
It's extremely large.
Bigger than that.
Yeah, they may be. We're too far away to really see, but they're very, very. Normally you'll get a 6x6 or an 8x8 for a standard murals, and plus as exterior tiles, these are very thick. They're just very, very thick, very heavy tiles. This was done by.
Wait, I'm going to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I know I want to talk about the mural, but before we talk about the mural, can you talk about the glazed terracotta tiles, the non-decorative ones themselves? Because they're just the field tiles, because they're so beautiful.
Yeah. That's another really sad thing here, because I do believe the mural is going to be considered important enough and valuable enough to be moved. And I know that the owners of the building were already talking to a friend of mine who specifically does that kind of work. So I do think the mural is going to be saved, and that in and of itself is not in danger. The sad thing is this entire building is clad, C-L-A-D, with Gladys McBean tile, probably made in Lincoln at the main pottery. And of course it's done in I think there's at least 3 to 4 different shades, because in each sort of panel of each portion of this, each story or the central section, that sort of thing, in a way it's shaded in a sense. It goes from darker to lighter, or vice versa, because even then they didn't want the monotony of just one color. So these were produced in at least 3 different colors and installed correctly to give a shading to the appearance. So it's really it's a very nice, it's a lovely building. It's very nice. Unfortunately, in today's marketplace, the field tile themselves are simply too hard to extract, and they have very little value on the other end. So I don't think there's going to be any attempt to save the field tile. I'm only guessing, but they certainly are interested in saving, the mural, and that is the most important thing, of all. So it's just really sad that this is still a very attractive and really nice. It's a lovely building, but once again, I often find it difficult to understand why they can't save some of these places. I just don't understand. But I don't think the field tile will be saved.
Okay,
just my opinion.
Let's jump into the